Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be answering a question that I get asked pretty regularly. Specifically though, I'm making this video for Heather because she asked me to. So Heather, this is for you. It's basically going to be touching on what cutting is, how do you figure out how to cut. I am going to talk about it in the way that I'm talking to someone that doesn't know a lot. So let's say they never heard the words deficit, surplus, cutting, bulking, they don't really understand what that is. That's the approach that I'm going to have in this video. So if you feel at any point that I am dumbing it down to absolute base knowledge, that's what I'm doing. Everything that I am giving advice on, by the way, I'm not a nutritionist, so I can't give food advice, but I am going to tell you basically how I went through trial and error and figured out what worked for me, and how knowing the knowledge that I do know helped. Sorry. I hope you find this video helpful, and let's get right into it. So the first thing that I'm going to be touching on is basically the 3 things that you are always in. So 3 categories that you're always in a surplus, you're maintaining, or you're in a deficit. First, we're going to talk about your maintenance calories. So everyone has set maintenance calories, and it means that what you expend naturally throughout the day, so your BMR, I believe it's the basal metabolic rate is your BMR, and so that just means what you expend throughout the day. So if I'm sitting at a desk and I'm just functioning throughout the day, what calorically does my body need to function? So kind of macros do I need to be able to expend the right amount of energy or not feel sluggish or starving or anything like that, and to function without losing weight is what that is. So that's like a good place to be. My maintenance phase is my favorite phase to be in. When I cycle into those, it's a really good time for me. It's when my relationship with food is the best, and when I feel the most energy because I am getting that. Are you done? Mr. Jingle Bobo over here. So if you are in your maintenance, or if you're in your maintenance phase, it means that you are not losing weight, but you're also not gaining weight. So that's what that means, as plainly as I possibly could explain it. So in the same way, going upwards is in a surplus. So you'll hear people use the term in fitness as a bulk. If you're in a surplus, it means that you are purposefully putting on weight. The reason for this is for muscle mass. So it's kind of being able to grow your muscles in this phase. And so you have to be eating more than your maintenance in order for you to do this. You can still grow muscle in your maintenance phase, but it is quicker to do it in a bulk. So people do that to get mass. So you weight moves weight. So if you have, I'm gonna kick him out. As I was saying, weight moves weight. So to put on weight, you'll be able to move more, which means you'll have the muscle growth, everything, etc. Not the point of this video, but explaining what it is. So that is what your surplus is. Normally a surplus would be 200 to 300 calories above your maintenance. There are also things known as a dirty bulk and a clean bulk. If you'd like me to go into all of that, I can at a later date, but this is about deficits and cutting. So if you're in a deficit, it means that you are eating less than your maintenance calories. This is pretty difficult because you do feel hungry most of the time, especially dependent on the severity of your deficit. Most people have specific goals to go towards with this, but a deficit is the #1 and only way that you will properly lose weight. Yes, the only way. How I was saying, in a surplus, you have to eat 200 to 300 calories above your maintenance is what's recommended. For a deficit, it's normally about 500 calories below. It can really be anything though, it just depends at the rate you would like to do it. A lot of times, if you are going from not paying any attention to your health, I would personally recommend trying to find your maintenance calories first, and then sit in that range of your maintenance calories for a couple of months, just so that your body adjusts to that amount of calories. A lot of people I've noticed, and personally that I've had to do, my clients as well, they have to reverse diet. So they're actually eating more than what they're used to, and just nutritionally denser foods. So so for me, when I was eating 1800 calories, I was maintaining at that time. I was actually cutting. My body was losing weight, but I thought I was maintaining because I was teaching my body to have that amount of food that consistently. I was the queen of breakfast, no lunch, and dinner. So I would have 1 to 2 meals a day. I wouldn't really snack. I hated snacking. And I would have like a sugar carb loaded coffee in the morning, and then a bunch of energy drinks, get to the gym, and then work out for hours. And I was like, why am I not losing weight? Well, because I had no food inside of me. My energy was really bad. I was feeling very depleted throughout the day. Sleeping was not a thing for me. And so those are things that just everything impacts everything else. And so your diet severely will impact your progression, and going to the gym genuinely is the easy part. So once you have that done as a routine, just make sure that you're paying attention, like I said, to your digestion. I can't stress that enough. I'm still trying to fix mine. I mess up my metabolism so bad by binge eating one meal at night if I didn't eat all day, because I was like, oh, I forgot to eat lunch, or I would kind of eat lunch but not really make it a bigger meal. It was like I was just eating because I felt like I had to, and it wasn't satiating. And then I would come 9-10 o'clock at night, I was like, time for my meal, and it was like a giant meal that was all fat or all carb or all protein. It was never all protein, let's be honest. But the point of the rant was that if you are looking to go into a deficit or try to pay more attention to this, I would recommend finding your BMR. So there are BMR calculators online. They won't be super accurate. You can find, I mean, you can go get tested at the doctor if you would like the complete accuracy. Call your physician, see if they have something available, or if they could recommend you to someone. Or you can do a BMR calculator and kind of just monitor yourself. That's what I ended up doing, which is why I found out that 1800 calories was actually a deficit, which was amazing to me because I felt like I was force feeding myself. Yeah, so you just figure out, kind of maintain, like watch yourself. In order to do this, you do have to track your food, but you say like, okay, if I'm eating this many calories per day for the week, what deficit am I in? What am I looking at in terms of my macronutrients? Are they balanced? Am I having enough protein to actually see the results of my efforts in the gym and weightlifting? And so am I having enough carbs to function and to feel energy and well rested, and brain function and all these things? And so those are things that are they were really lacking in my diet, was protein and carbs. I had a very high fat diet. So those are things to pay attention to in your maintenance phase, and when you're trying to figure out what those numbers are for you, because they will be for you specifically. I can say that they recommend for protein, you have 1 gram of protein for every pound of weight that you are. Just do your research, talk to a doctor or a nutritionist or someone else that can give you more specific, but that is just rule of thumb, something that I've learned. I feel like people really look down on dieting and cutting and think of it as a disorder. That's very popular trend right now online, and it's more so just because for you to say, oh, I'm hungry but I'm cutting so it's on purpose, to someone that doesn't understand or doesn't see your goals or doesn't know that you have a healthy approach, it looks like a disorder. I understand. I agree with you. Like, I get it. I understand how it looks and what it's being perceived as, but you have to have cycles of these things. You cannot stay in this kind of deficit because your body will actually adjust to it. So your digestion and your metabolism will actually stay in whatever group that you are in. So if you're in a maintenance, it's going to adjust to your maintenance, which is why I said I think it's smart to start out there. If you're in a deficit, if you stay in a deficit for too long, your body will adjust and it will stay there. Your metabolism will, and that's what will slow down. And then if you're in a surplus, it'll slow down and it will adjust to what you're eating. So just make sure that you are having healthy cycles of these things. I can't really give a time frame as to what a healthy cycle would be. Like I said, I'm doing about 3 months, just make sure that I've heard people that do 6 weeks and 8 weeks and 3 months. I've never really heard anything over 3 months. I think the longest I've heard was 6 months, and it was for a very particular goal. They were bodybuilding, so that's a different story altogether. But yeah, just make sure that you are actually cycling out of these things and that you're having the healthy approach so that your body does understand, oh, we are in a deficit, so it's going to lose weight and it's going to respond properly to your actions, so that you don't really feel like it's for nothing, just because, like I said, it's a very challenging state to be in. I would say I lose about 1 pound a week, so that's a very healthy approach. If I were to lose anything more than that, I would say that I'm in starvation. So that's something to pay attention to. I would never drop to 1,200 calories, for an example, if that makes any lines click for anybody. You are monitoring your food and eating less than you can to function so that you can lose weight. So that's something, it's very timely, and so it can be mentally challenging. I would say has been the hardest part about cutting is the mental challenge of having a bad day and wanting to eat like 1 pound of carbonara, or being exhausted and being like, and knowing that ordering a pizza would be a lot easier and faster than making one. For cutting specifically, I would say the advice that I have that worked really well for me was, I wrote down a little list. Something that I had to start incorporating just to hit my calories every day for my maintenance, because like I said, I wasn't used to eating all day. So with never actually reaching like a starvation feeling in my body, like my hunger cues were very messed up. So I had to eat regularly small meals to fix my metabolism. So I had to start snacking. I hated snacking. Now if I don't have a snack, I feel like I'm dying. It seems like an unhealthy habit if you're not used to snacking to assist you. So I try to make sure that all of my snacks are not filler. I'm not eating because I'm bored. I'm eating because I'm hungry, and it's always protein based. So I'll have protein chips, protein carbs, protein bars, things like that. I have rice cakes with Baumar butter on them. There's a protein based butter, protein shakes at night after the gym if I'm still hungry after my dinner, but things like that where I am very specifically eating protein based mini meals, just to help me get to my protein goal. You have no idea how hard it is to eat 160 grams of protein every day until you have to do it. My camera stopped talking, or stopped working. I stopped talking. So the next thing is going to be water intake. I actually started drinking 1 gallon of water a day, and my digestion basically fixed itself. Not completely, but basically. If I can tell the difference in my skin, my energy, my appetite, my sleep, like everything, if I am drinking water. And that sounds so dramatic. If you knew me in college, you knew I was like the resident anti-water girl. I didn't even drink any, I drank nothing. I drank coffee. That's it. Water absolutely changed my life in the best way. Changing out foods that I liked so I didn't feel too restricted. So something that I was really sad about is I love mac and cheese. Love mac and cheese. I love fats in general. So I love cheese, and it was really hard to try to cut that out. Chia seeds are so high in fat, and I thought I was being super healthy. Avocado is very high in fat, and everyone thinks they're being super healthy, but if everything you're eating has avocado in it, chances are your fat percentage is through the roof. Those are things to pay attention to. Just because it's labeled as like healthy societally doesn't mean that it is. For example, I love pizza, so Quest has a pizza that I eat that changed my life. I'm not a picky pizza eater, but Quest pizza was it. Never liked chips. Quest chips are it. Quest protein bars, amazing. Buy them by the box. Like, I love Quest. Has saved my life. I have these new like Quest little mini donuts that have curbed my sweet tooth. Like, unbelievable. So good. But yeah, so those are things that I had to do. So I just had to find ways to take something that I loved and replace it with something better. There's so many different alternatives out there. Just make sure you're looking at the macros, and you will be able to get it down to kind of a science, and just kind of a nice routine as to whether or not you feel like you're missing out on something. Do I want a fat bowl of pasta when I know it's bad for me? Yeah, of course, but I'm cutting, and this isn't forever. I'm not doing this until the end of time. I'm doing it for a short period of time, and so getting through it doesn't feel crazy to me. It's like, so the people that support you when you're doing this is huge. Huge. Something that I really had to do, which stinks because convenience, I had to stop eating out. So making all of my food at home and not just grabbing a quick bite here and there. I had a Chick-fil-A meal the other day thinking that it would be like 800 calories. I was like, okay, well, I've had 3 eggs and a piece of toast. Like whole wheat toast is like 50 calories. It's not nearly as much as regular toast. So I was like, okay, so I've had like 300 calories today. I still have 1300. I can go eat an 800 calorie Chick-fil-A meal, right? Wrong. It was, I want to say it was like 1325 for a number 1. That's insane. I don't know if you guys know this. Sorry to burst your bubble, but Chick-fil-A sauce packets, like the tiny little sauce packets, are 140 calories. Just one. 140. But yeah, so that's devastating. So that really hurt me. But yeah, just eating at home, because you never really know how much things are calorically, whether or not they're balanced. If you're actually gonna sit there and like weigh it out, I know 8 ounces of rice is a lot smaller than I think it is always. Like I always think that I'm having less rice than I actually am, until I weigh it. So that's something that I would say to pay a lot of attention to and just avoid at all costs. Is just don't eat out. Seriously, it will ruin your diet. It will really like throw a wrench in there. I know a lot of people don't like this. They see it as problematic, but tracking food has changed how I am able to eat. It's really rewarding being able to know that I hit the 160 grams of protein and that my weightlifting isn't going to shame, you know? So things like that, you don't really understand what you're eating until you know, you know? You don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know what's in what you're eating, it's problematic. So for me, for example, when I first started tracking my food, I thought that I was doing everything right. And my trainer at the time was like, well, track your food. He's been telling me this for months. And I was very against it because I was like, I felt discredited, like I didn't have the knowledge to intuitively eat. I was like, I know what's healthy. Like I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm eating. I don't eat a lot. I don't know why I'm losing weight. And the real truth is I was not eating a lot. Density, like the food itself, I wasn't eating a lot of, but the actual food was so high in calorie, and I was eating way more than my maintenance calorie. Either skip lunch or order out, which again, normally ordered out food, sorry to break it to you, is easily 1200 calories, if not more. So that was problematic. And then every single Friday, maybe once during the week, so 1 to 2 times a week, I was eating dinner out, and that was adding up all of those calories. And so in terms of actually eating in a deficit, and the probability of me losing weight was very, very low. And so my weight loss was slow, if at all existent, for 6 months. So I didn't actually know what was wrong. And once I started paying attention to these things, I was like, there's no way that chia seeds are this many calories, and there's no way that I'd eat this little protein and I'm barely having any carbs. And once I figured all of those things out, I started tracking just what I ate. I wasn't trying to restrict myself yet. I needed to figure out what my BMR and maintenance calories and everything was. And again, when I finally figured that out, I felt like I was force feeding myself because I had to reverse diet. I had to fix my eating habits, and everything I was eating was so much more satiating than the foods I was having before. So I felt like I was force feeding myself, but I lost nearly 20 pounds in 2 months, just paying attention to eggs versus protein pancakes, you know? So, but yeah, that's my best advice. Also, last tip, and I cannot stress this enough, if you are friends with someone that's not supporting you or pressuring you to not eat with them, or if they're like, you know, emotional eaters and they're trying to make you an emotional eater, or they're like guilting you into going out and having a drink. Alcohol is so high in calorie, it's insane. But if these people are saying like, oh, you don't want to do this, you're the worst, or oh, you're not friends with me anymore, you're not, like, you're so obsessive over this, you're allowed to be obsessed with yourself. I can't. You are allowed to be selfish. You're allowed to care about your diet and your work that you're putting in to better yourself. And if people aren't 100% supportive of that, please don't listen to them. Don't let them cloud your judgment. It's not unhealthy to pay attention to your health. everyone in the world said that I was fine when I was severely overweight and tired and not sleeping and barely eating and depressed. I hated myself, and it was very difficult. And if people are judging you for your approach, and you've done your research and you know that you have a healthy approach to it, don't let them interfere with your progress. I'm really, really proud of you for prioritizing yourself and for trying. On that note, Boba and I, thank you. Thanks. That's so sweet. On that note, Boba and I are going to go to the gym. It is my leg day. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe if you have not already. And I will see you guys next Thursday, because I'm not going to be posting on Thanksgiving. Yeah, watch the parade. And if you see anyone that's super cheesy, it probably made me smile. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys.